occupation. It's time to send in your application.
It's a lot of green. A lot of green.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought it'd be fun and interesting to finally dive into the Pretty Little Liars finale. Ever since this finale came out, this is like the last ever episode of the show, it's always been quite a hot topic between me and my friends because there's a lot in the finale to talk about. And I fear that it's not a good reason why we should have to talk about it. I personally did not like this finale. I know a lot of people didn't like the finale. I believe it is the worst rated episode throughout the entire show. I think it's always hard to end a show like this. This was such a staple for this kind of show when it was airing, and it was ultimately a really, really big show. So I think it was always going to be a struggle to try and come to a conclusion. However, I just think the way they did it was just completely not what the audience was kind of asking for or like hinting towards. I don't necessarily think the person who was A, who we will get into, is the issue. I think it's more the way they did it and how it didn't really make sense ultimately in the very end of the show. Do I have a problem with who A was? Yes. However, do I think it could have worked if they did it better? Absolutely. I thought we would go through the finale, tell you what I thought was wrong with the finale. If you disagree, please let me know. I would love to hear your opinion on it. I think it's a really interesting thing to talk about. I read a lot of Reddit posts, a lot of Twitter posts about it. And it ultimately feels like everyone's kind of at the same conclusion with it. I had to write everything down. So if I'm looking away or looking down, I apologize, but I just want to get all my points across without missing anything. I noticed this when I watched the finale. The finale, I believe, was 2 hours long, around that length. It was a longer episode. It might have been an hour and a half, actually, now I think about it. Anyway, the first hour of the finale had nothing to do with the overall plot of like the show. A was the main plot of the show, and finales in Pretty Little Liars are there to hype up who is A, right? We've had 20 episodes plus of the relationship sagas and people not getting on with each other and stuff. So the first actual hour of the finale was them just exploring the relationships a bit more. And I feel like this might depend on your particular interests in the show. I know some people really value character relationships, but I feel like for this finale and for what the finale promised and the ultimate countdown to who is A, to spend the majority of the finale just exploring relationships that we have been exploring for 7 seasons already is a little bit... Ultimately, in this hour, nothing happened. And I wouldn't have minded this if the actual A reveal was good. But to have an hour of the show just be nothing, to have then this really rushed A reveal, in my eyes, is like, could we not have put that time into the actual reveal, into why everyone is here, what we want to know? I value character relationships here and there when it is, I guess, like necessary, or when it feels like this is the moment to explore this character's relationship with that character. I'm watching Grey's Anatomy at the moment. I'm only on season 3, everyone, okay? But I think the way they do the relationships between each character is really cool because they kind of divide it equally between like the plot and then like the overall relationships. Whereas this entire hour of this episode was just, oh, do you like each other? And that's it. And we've had so much of that throughout the show that I'm like, okay, this is not why we are here. And I ultimately think to have this hour where your audience is getting a bit bored, getting a bit like, this is repetitive, like there's nothing to do here, like what am I actually getting from this hour, ultimately set up the disappointment when the A reveal happened in my eyes, because we had been waiting for over an hour to find out who A was, the ultimate plot of the show, the ultimate conclusion of the show, but we've just had to deal with this whole hour of relationships. I'm bored. At this point, I just want the show and like I just want the episode ended because I just want to know who it is and just like move on. I ultimately think that didn't help when it came to the A reveal and the disappointment of it. Like I said though, I think it depends on where you sit on, do you value character relationships more? Do you value the plot more? I do think it is subjective in that sense. Just for me personally and my friends and people who I've spoken to, it ultimately was just kind of boring. So I think this was people's biggest issue, and that was the actual person who was A. I feel like this could have worked. I don't know. Oh my god. The person who was A, spoilers if you've not finished the show, is Alex Drake, who is Spencer's twin. Now, this character we have never ever met. We've never seen this character ever. And ultimately, I feel like when it's someone you don't know, it's kind of like, okay. At least with Mona, and I know Cece's A isn't always regarded as the best A, but we knew those people and we knew those type of people and how they were and how they behaved and their relationships with other people. But this A was someone who we had never met. Guys, we had never met this A. And I personally feel like your big bad of your show, the ultimate plot of your show is regarding this character, this villain. To introduce someone who we've never met is a bit weird. I think they were relying on the shock factor of like, oh my god, Spencer's had a twin this whole time, so it's kind of someone we know but not really. I feel like it is a bit of a cop-out, if I'm being honest. Do I think this twin theory could have worked? Yeah. And I remember at the time there was a whole thing about like Bethany being involved and Bethany being the twin, and although Bethany was never a main character, we knew Bethany and we knew her links to everything. So I feel like to have someone who the audience has never ever met is really kind of I remember at the time I wanted to feel betrayed. I wanted to feel that somebody this whole time who, you know, maybe we've loved is in fact A, because that is the whole point of the show. It's Pretty Little Liars. The whole point is to have this huge lie. And we don't really discover who Alex is until Alex is revealed and we get to know her life story. But I remember at the time I saw a lot of theories about people like Caleb being A, because we've trusted Caleb, and to have Caleb as A would have been this whole betrayal thing, especially because of his friendships with the girls and his relationship with Hannah. It would have been an ultimate kind of betrayal. But I remember when Alex got revealed, me and my friend were watching at the same time, And first of all, the reveal was really bad, and we'll get onto that. But I remember texting him being like, so is that A? And I feel like I shouldn't have to be asking someone if that was A when A was being revealed, if that makes sense. If your audience is confused and doesn't know if this was your reveal or not, I think that's very alarming. But I feel like to have someone who was A, who we would have known maybe from the start or from the early seasons, would have been so much better than having someone who we've, as an audience, have not met. We have no connection to Alex. I don't care that she was A. Like, I don't feel anything. I understand Spencer ultimately took the kind of like front of the show towards the end of the season. You know, at the start of the show it was Alison, and then as the show went on it was Spencer. But Alex being A really only impacts Spencer. And I feel like A should be someone who impacts the entire group. Because why would you be A? Why are you after these girls? I just think it kind of hinders the audience's connection to A. Like, Mona being revealed as A was really cool because we had seen Mona was bullied a lot by Alison and the girls. And she had this whole journey of like, she was a loser and now she's popular. But Hannah is now kind of moving on to her other friendship group and pushing her out again. I think that was really interesting. Alex Drake, we only met the moment she was revealed as A. And her telling her backstory, am I supposed to feel emotional with that? Because, like, I don't know this character. I don't have any feelings towards this character. And then ultimately that kind of leads me into the way it was revealed. The way A was revealed, Spencer had been knocked out by Mona. And Spencer woke up in this, like, cell that was made from glass. And we see a reflection. At this point, this is when I knew it was Spencer's twin. Because the reflection didn't really look like a reflection. And also, it obviously didn't move with Spencer's movements. And this, as an A reveal, was the worst reveal on the show in my eyes. And that had been some bad reveals. First of all, I think it was really cool with Mona and with Cece that we actually saw them in the Black Hood. The Black Hood is such a staple in the show. It's such a staple for this villain. A ultimately is this symbol of the Black Hood. That is who we know A is. So we never see Alex in this Black Hood. And I think it just takes away from, oh my God, it's A. Do you know what I mean? And then also with Mona and with Cece, the girls found out about A, like, kind of at the same time. And I think it was really cool. And whether or not you like Cece's reveal as A, that's up to you. There's a lot of, like, conversation on that. The actual reveal was really, really good. When all the girls were in this room together, Alison was with A, and they find out A all together. I think that was really, really cool. Just the way they did it. And even Mona's reveal as A, they all kind of found out at the same time as well. So those reveals felt really like, oh my God, like, this is A. You know, whether you like the person who was A or not, or whether you think it was a good thing to do, whatever. The actual reveals itself was really, really cool, and I really, really liked them. So to have Alex's reveal as just like, oh, this is a reflection, it's not actually Spencer, it's her twin. Yeah, like, I know there's a lot of talk about the writers. They thought it was too obvious to be other people. But if you watch season 7, it's so obvious that Spencer has a twin. It's so obvious. I called it from quite early on, to be honest. So I don't know about that. The actual reveal was just not. And then going with the reveal, I've written down here the accent. Now look, Troyanne, right? Love her. Love her acting. Amazing. Hope she wins every award ever. The British accent was not.
Sorry, I've got to go get ready. Hey, how are you planning on wearing your hair for the wedding?
I'm British, okay, so I feel like I get to have some say on this, okay? This British accent to me made the entire reveal even more comedic than it was, and I don't like that I found it comedic. I think the accent made me more laugh at Alex rather than be kind of like scared or intimidated by Alex. So I don't think that really helped the reveal. I think the British accent something that was not needed. And also, why did Alex have to have a British accent? If the accent sounded a bit off, Troyan maybe wasn't as confident with doing that accent. The twin didn't need to have an accent. The twin could have just been American, okay? Could have just had Spencer's accent, but was just a twin. There was no need for the British accent. I laughed at the British accent rather than was like, oh my god, wow. Like, and I don't like the fact that it made A look laughable more than like intimidating. I just think the way I would have done the finale, I would have had like, if we would have kept the twin, okay, keep the twin, keep Alex, whatever. Even just having the girls slowly figure it out and then like exposing A for it would have been so cool. Like, oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, I've not even told you the best bit, guys. The way they figured out Spencer wasn't Spencer and was actually Alex after Alex took over her life was through her perfume and a horse. Come on now. Come on now. They fully figured it out because a horse didn't like her and she was wearing a different perfume than usual. I'm not even going to speak on it, guys. I'm not wasting my time. Absolutely not. Are you joking? I've written down here, we only get 30 minutes to explore Alex's character. We have to believe that she was willing to do crazy actions as A because she's jealous. Alex's whole backstory is because she didn't live the life that Spencer lived and because her sister, Cece, died. Now, look. I get she didn't live the life that Spencer got. If I had a twin and they lived a better life than me, I don't think I would blackmail their entire friendship group, kidnap one of them, and then like impregnate one of them with another one's eggs. I personally just don't think I would do it. It's like, I never really understood. It's like, the jealousy thing worked with Mona because Mona had past trauma from Allison. And it worked with Cece because Cece's backstory, so traumatizing. And she had the her trauma was valid, okay? So to make her jealous because she didn't live the life that her parents should have given her, valid, right? Alex, maybe it is because we only had half an hour to actually explore Alex's character. I just don't think, I just don't. I'm not convinced that the jealousy thing was much to uphold. Cece's death, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, it's valid, but it's also like, I don't know. Guys, my brain's fried, okay? So I also wrote down the mum's basement. There was a whole inside joke through season 6 to 7 about how the mums got out the basement during the Cece reveal, I think it was. They never said anything, and I don't think this is too, like, I'm not gonna deep it, like, this is just a point, but like, just tell us. Like, what's the problem? Ren's death was not shown. Now, I understand this actually because I actually believe they wanted Ren to be A, but the actors' scheduling didn't allow him to film for it. But if Ren was able to film all of the scenes with Alex explaining how they met and stuff, could we have not seen his death? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't know. Could we not have seen this man's death? Like, Ren was kind of a big character. He had a lot of relationships with loads of the girls, and he was kind of like a staple. So to not even show his death and to say that he's dead just through a one-liner about him being now a necklace. Whatever you want, I guess. Whatever that means.
Okay. Whatever that means.
I'm not vibing with that. I think that's a bit of a cop-out. Could you not have shown his death? I don't get it. Because they must have filmed all the scenes with him and Alex. So they couldn't pre-film his death. I will say, Mona, I think throughout this finale, I just love Mona. She's just like my favorite character in the show. Mona throughout this finale is exactly who Mona is, and I love it for her. The ending scene where she is holding Mary and Alex captive in like her own dollhouse is so cool. I love it. I think it's so good, and I think Mona is the best thing to come out of Pretty Little Liars. I think she's so amazing. I think she's so cool. So that was like one good thing about the finale. I loved Mona, and I loved how she was still kind of like, she still can never get rid of the A game, but I love it for her. The fact that she always wants to be in control, and she loved being A so much that like she's still doing it, I think is so cool. I love Mona. I've then written down the Aria and Ezra wedding. I did a whole video about the relationships throughout Pretty Little Liars. I don't know if it's out yet, but I have a huge issue with this wedding. I don't think it should have happened, and I think the romanticization, you know what I mean, of that relationship was really bad. And not just because of the age gap, just literally, and not even like on the show. I feel like it might have a wider impact as well. I went more in depth on this in another video, so I will link it down below if it's out already. The Aria Ezra relationship, I don't think they should have got married. I think that man should be in jail. I'm not vibing with it. Also, her first dress that she was going to wear before Ezra got captured, because Ezra gets captured for some reason, was horrendous. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think the wedding, I don't know how Aria's parents were like happy about it. I think it's really funny that Mike's actor couldn't be there to film it. I think that's really funny. I just don't think this is how it should have ended with Aria and Ezra, because Aria, they also adopt the child a bit later on in the show. Yeah, this whole relationship rubs me the wrong way. I just don't vibe with it. I don't like it. I don't think this is how it should have ended, but I digress. I think as well with the finale, there was a lot of unexplained things still. There's loads more than what I'm just going to talk about. There's videos about it, so like I will leave a link down below so you can see like the full list, because there's so much that never actually gets answered on the show, which is crazy. But the whole Jenna and Noel links to Alex, I don't really understand. I don't know why Noel wants to be involved so badly, and I feel like Noel, like, he's always there, but he's still just like the most irrelevant person in the room. Like, he helped Allison when Allison disappeared, and then he was hunting the girls in like was it like a blind hospital? I forgot. And he wanted to kill them. Why do you want to kill these people so bad? Like, what did they do to you? I understand Jenna and Noel, their partnership, because that's always kind of a thing, Jenna and Noel. Why are they so desperate to kill the girls? Like, I understand Jenna's thing because of the whole Jenna thing. And I don't think she ever forgave them for that. And that's valid. But Noel, like, why would Noel want to team up with Alex too? And I believe, I could be making this up, guys, I think Noel actually helped Cece with the dollhouse too. So why is this man always there? Like, what is his part in it? Because does he even have a motive? I just don't really get it. Why does he hate the girls so much? Why does he want them dead? He helps every single A, yet there's no relevance for him. Like, he is always there but has no relevance. So I don't understand that entire situation. But nothing really felt concluded and tied together. And after the finale, I was left with more questions than answers. Everything was really confusing. I didn't feel satisfied. I felt like there was a lot they just didn't bother answering when they could have answered it. Like, Melissa actually ended up having no relevance to it. So there's just like, there's so much that was not answered about the entire show. Nothing in my eyes felt, oh, like I'm satisfied with how that ended type of thing. I think, and then that leads me to another thing. Marlene King, who was the director of Pretty Little Liars, had to do a whole interview after the show answering questions because the audience still had so many questions. I'm not, an expert, but I feel like having to make your director go on to an interview to have to explain the finale because everyone is still confused. In my eyes, I don't think that's a good sign. A director should not have to come out and say it because the finale was so bad that everyone is like, what? And also answering questions about the show and unanswered questions on the show rather than revealing them or concluding them on the show itself is a bit of a cop-out in my eyes, because so you know that people have these questions but you've just decided not to answer them, and instead you're going to answer them on a talk show because everyone is so confused that they're just demanding answers because the finale wasn't satisfactory enough. I just think, in my eyes, don't shoot the messenger, but I feel like that's just like a bit crazy. Like, I've never seen a director ever have to do that in my lifetime. So when I saw it when it came out, I was like, what? How am I learning things about this show through an interview the director has had to do after the finale? Like, hello? So to kind of conclude everything, I think the writers were obsessed with outsmarting the audience. I hate to group like the writers or whatever, but the directors and whoever was doing the storyline and figuring it all out, I think they had an obsession with outsmarting the audience. And my theory on it, again, I've done another video on it, is I would have liked someone else to be A who we'd known through the show. I would have loved personally Aria to be A, but even like people like Caleb or like maybe a parent, I think the audience wants to feel betrayed. We want it to be someone who we've known this whole time. And because instead they wanted to outsmart people and be like, you never thought of this, did you? I think that's why it went bad. I think it's okay if the audience has figured it out. I think it's fine. Because the whole aspect of the show is about mystery and stuff. So you've obviously dropped hints here and there about potential A. So I think it's fine if the audience would have known it was A. And I feel like it would have been better. Like, for example, let's say like everyone knew at this point it was Aria. I feel like when that got revealed, the audience wouldn't be like, oh yeah, we knew it, whatever. The audience would be like, wow, like it's actually Aria. I still would have been shocked by it. And I think just because we knew who A was, I don't think you have to change it based on that. I think it still would have been cool to just go how you were planning to go, whether that was with Ren or Arya or Melissa or whoever, because I want to feel betrayed. I want it to be someone who I've known throughout the entire show, or from like the early seasons, like after Mona or whatever, because ultimately that is the point of A. So that's my take on everything. I would love to hear your opinions on the whole thing as well. So make sure to comment down below kind of your thoughts on the finale and whether you agree with what I'm saying, because I feel like at the end of the day this is all still very subjective. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
Pick your season or argue.